Shalom, shalom, brothers and sisters. I apologize for my tardiness. Now, I usually do this on the Sabbath or immediately after the Sabbath, and I had one ready and I recorded it. But you know how sometimes when you cooking and you test it, and it don't taste just right, gotta go back to the drawing board, start all over. I don't feed my with Lord Evans say I don't feed my family pet food, and I ain't gonna do that to y'all, man. Anything I give you, I want it to be the best I could possibly make it with the help of our Heavenly Father, you know? So, here we are. Not making excuses, just giving an explanation. And with this one, I gotta give credit to my brother, New Breed, because he taught me this word a while ago. He probably taught a lot of us this word. I just heard him say it, and it just resonated with me. And that word is microcosm. And I really feel like the things that happen in my life are a microcosm of things that's happening in the world for real. Like mine's just on a small scale, but the same thing is happening. Like I write a song and it'll be from my perspective. And then I sit back and step back and look at it. And I'm like, hold up, this could apply to everybody. So instead of me, I'm going to make it general for everybody. So I think the Most High works with me like that ever since I asked him to teach me to understand his word. It's like things that happen to me, and then I pick up the word and look at it and see that it happened. Same thing happened to this one, our forefather Joseph or our forefather David or somebody, and I'd be like, wow, now I understand because I've experienced it. What they say, experience is the best teacher. So, man, shout out once again to the brother Breed for teaching me that word. I always got to give credit where it's due, man. And this is the definition of microcosm, by the way. It's a noun, and it means a community, place, or situation regarded as encapsulating in miniature the characteristics, qualities, or features of something much larger. So something happened to me in my little world that reflects something that's happening in the big world that we all live in. So, yeah, with that being said, let's get into it, everybody. This is Isaiah chapter 14, verses 12 through 20. And it's talking about the falling of the king of Tyre. It said, how have thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Elohim, or God, as it says in the King James Version. I will sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. Verse 14, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. That's some lofty claims right there, ain't it? Verse 15, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. Verse 16, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the one that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Verse 17, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners. That one right there, man. Some people, you try to walk away, they refuse to let you go, and it's almost you feel like a prisoner, because as much as you try to get away, like even in some love relationships, business relationships, whatever the case may be, as much as you try to separate yourself, the people on the other side just refuse to let you go. They keep bringing you up or keep, mentioning you when you shouldn't even be mentioned years after you left the company, whatever the case may be. So what they say, open not the house of his prisoners. Like they say, I read something about narcissists, and I hate that word because so many people use it so much that they just like take the value away from it. As we say in Baltimore, they run stuff in a hole. Many more people just keep using the word, and some people use it incorrectly, and make it so that people don't even flinch when they hear it anymore. Like it used to be a strong word, now it's just like everybody's narcissist, But yeah, still I use it because for edification purposes and because so we all on the same page. They say like narcissists feel like you belong to them. And so, like, no matter what, like, be as though you're a free person, they're a free person. But in their mind, you belong to them. And whatever you do, they always have the right to come back and claim you at any point. and sometimes even without apology. Shout out to my sister Tori. She posted earlier yesterday, I think, said time is not an apology. It's like it don't matter. Some people will do things to you, never apologize, never make any attempt to make things right, but they figure because it's been a couple of days or a couple months, in some cases, my case for real, a couple years, they just come back out of nowhere like everything cool and want to put their arm around you like everything okay. But the scripture say when your enemy put his arm around your shoulder, watch out. That's what I be on. So watch out or get away from me for real. Back to the scriptures for real. Verse 18. All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, every one in his own house. But thou art cast off out of thy grave like an abominable branch, as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword, shalt that go down into the stones of the pit. As a carcass trodden under feet. We're going to read what that's talking about, or another reference to that in Micah 7 and 10, as soon as we finish this. Verse 20, thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Now let's get that out of the New Living Translation in case anybody needs a little more edification. I know I did, so I turned there, so I'm going to bring it out for everybody. It says, a taunt for Babylon's king. That's what it's titled. They titled this part. New Living Translation. How art you fallen from heaven, O shining star, son of the morning? And that's what Lucifer means, if nobody knew. If somebody didn't know, shining star, son of the morning. You have been thrown down to the earth, you who destroyed the nations of the world. For you said to yourself, I will ascend to heaven and set my throne above Elohim, or God's stars. I will preside on the mountain of the gods, far away in the north. Verse 14, I will climb to the highest heaven and be like the Most High. Verse 15, instead, you will be brought down to the place of the dead, and that's what hell is, the place of the dead, Sheol, down to its lowest depths. Verse 16, everyone there will stare at you and ask, can this be the one who shook the earth and made the kingdoms of the world tremble? Like when it's all said and done, like they look high and mighty at one point, but when the Most High bring them down, people gonna say, is this the one who shook the earth that made the kingdoms of the world tremble? Verse 17, is this the one who destroyed the world and made it into a wasteland? Like I said, this is talking about the world, but it can be a microcosm. You can mess up somebody's world. We all have our own little worlds that we live in, so might shook up the worlds of a couple of people or whatever. But this is talking about the King of Tyre. He shook up the kingdoms of the world, the whole big thing. Is this the one who destroyed the world and made it into a wasteland? Is this the king who demolished the world's greatest cities and had no mercy on his prisoners? The kings of the nation lie in stately glory, each one in his own tomb. Well, each in his own tomb, sorry. Not supposed to add or take away. You don't say one, so I shouldn't have said one. So once again, each in his own tomb. Verse 19, but you will be thrown out of your grave like a worthless branch, like a corpse trampled underfoot. And we're going to get to that real soon. It's coming right up after this. You will be dumped into a mass grave with those killed in battle. You will descend to the pit. Verse 20, you will not be given a proper burial. Wow. For you have destroyed your nation. And I've actually heard people refer to the situation that I was in as a nation. Not a real nation, but once again, we talking about the microcosm. You feel me? And slaughtered your people. More so spiritually. A lot of people destroy people. You can destroy somebody physically, spiritually, mentally. But hey, by the grace of the Most High, the ones who are chosen by him will still rise, regardless of whatever anybody tries to do. We will rise and he will put us where we need to be. Like Maya Angelou says, still I rise. Shout out to her. That's powerful, powerful words right there. Back to the verses. The descendants of such an evil person will never again receive honor. Now let's get the one that I was referring to in Micah 7 and 10. This is referring to Jezebel. And the same characteristics that are attributed to Jezebel, or someone carrying or operating under the Jezebel spirit, are also contributed to narcissists. So, like, spiritual people might don't call somebody a narcissist. They might just say they operate under the Jezebel spirit, and essentially it's the same. And shout out to the brother Ringo TV. Man, he changed my life way back when I first got on YouTube, back in the old school YouTube days, the good old days when you can hit somebody up in the inbox and stuff right on YouTube. But he made a series called Discerning the Jezebel Spirit, and so much stuff that I had experienced and so many different people that I had experienced, it helped me to understand them so much better. So shout out to him too, Brother Ringo, for making that series. I still refer back to it sometimes, and I send it to people who come to me with questions about why certain people are treating them a certain way or doing them the way they're doing them. I'm like, check this out, and you'll understand it a whole lot better. And people come back with rave reviews to this day. So that's a timeless classic. Like, now some people make music 20 years later, it still sound good. You still vibe to it in your car and rock out to it. That's that. I'll put that on and rock out to it and vibe to it sometimes. It's still a classic. So shout out to the brother one more again. So this is the story of Jezebel, and let's see what happened. You know what I'm saying? And we talk about things spiritually and physically. So this is what happened to the person by the name of Jezebel. But a lot of people are walking around operating under that same spirit that need to be delivered from it. But let's see what happened to the real Jezebel, you know. And to be clear, Jezebel, somebody operating under that spirit, could be a male or a female. So don't be triggered when the scripture says she right here. Or don't feel so safe when it says she right there. If you know you're a guy and you act like that, because it's all the same, for real. When you operating under that spirit, the real Jezebel was a lady. But a lot of people walking around in that spirit are guys too. So just know that. I ain't singling nobody out and doing none of that right now. That's not what we talk about. Let's get into it. Micah 7 and 10. Then she that is my enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is Yah, or the Lord, your Elohim, your mighty one, or your God? My eyes shall behold her. Now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the streets. And we just read about that king getting trodden down or stomped or trampled like the mud in the streets. So that's the fate of the Jezebel spirit. New Living Translation. Then my enemies will see that Yah is on my side. So sometimes it might not look like it from the things that a person go through. You wouldn't even think that the Most High was on their side. Even some of the disciples in the New Testament made a mistake and said, what did his parents do for him to be cursed like that? But the Messiah told them that he wasn't cursed because of anything his parents did, but it was made for such a moment as that he was able to perform a miracle and instill faith in a lot of people. So sometimes when you see people going through, sometimes when people going through, they are reaping the benefits of their bad behavior or things that they've done. But other times, it's just not their time to shine just yet, you know? So never just look down. What that song say, one of my favorite gospel songs, don't look down on a man. The only time that you should look down on a man is when you're picking him up. So if you ain't picking him up, you don't need to be sitting there, and you don't need to have their name in your mouth and need to be talking about them unless they did something to you directly. And even if that's the case, you give that to the Most High and wait on him to work that out for real. So let's get back into this. Let's start that again. Micah 7 and 10 from the New Living Translation. Then my enemies will see that Yah is on my side. They will be ashamed that they taunted me. A lot of people be ashamed when they taunt somebody, and then they see later on that their fate is better than theirs, for real. That'd be the one they made fun of, or they might even end up needing them for something. They gotta swallow their pride and come to them after they've been talking about them all that time, and hope nobody else don't drop it down on them and let them know that they was talking about them when they see them arm in arm hanging out. So it said, taunting me, saying, so where's Yah, or where's the Lord, that mighty one, or that God of yours? With my eyes I will see their downfall. They will be trampled like mud in the streets. And if you want to, also 2 Samuel chapter 22, 41 through 43 is a good reference. Check that out. And read 2 Kings chapter 9, verse 30 through 37 to see the whole detailed story of what happened to Jezebel. This verse basically sums it up, but if you want to know the whole story, read 2 Kings chapter 9, verses 30 through 37. We also know that account in Wisdom of Solomon. Read that whole chapter, chapter 5, when the righteous man stands in great boldness in the face of all those who made light of his work and cheated him and all that, and see that he had a high seat and a high place with the Most High. The whole time he was making fun of him and beating down on him and cracking on him and cheating him out of stuff and basically treating him like dirt. But when it was all said and done, like I said, I mean, they said, be careful how you treat people. You don't know they rank in the spirit world for real. So you might have your fun for a little while, but when it all comes down to it at the end of the thing, the conclusion of the whole matter, it won't go well for you when you do that to the Most High's chosen people. Sometimes he might allow you to do it for a while to build their character and make them stronger. I know a lot of the things that I've been through are the reason why I'm here right now, talking to everybody the way I'm talking to everybody, because of the experiences that I've had, you know. But they say certain people are like sandpaper. They might hurt you and scratch you up, but at the end of the day, you end up polished and they end up useless. So that's something that I always meditate on too. It's not a scripture, but it's something that definitely resonates when I read it, and it definitely, like made me feel good to read, give me some hope to the expected end. And though it tarry, it will come. How about that? So this is the conclusion of this, what we talking about right now. This is Proverbs 11 and 21. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. New King James Version puts it like this. New King James Version, sorry, I don't know why I did those inflections. Though they join forces, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. That joint forces part is super important because, like, as we know, a lot of cowards always got attacking packs or groups like hyenas. They attacking packs or in groups or in squads or whatever you want to call it, gangs or whatever, Remember, righteous ones, that you plus the Most High is the majority every time. So even though they do all that, what they say when the enemy rushes in like a flood, and we know that waters a lot of times mean groups of people. When the enemy rush in like a flood, the Most High raises a standard against them, like, oh, don't you come another further. Know that, man. Many other afflictions of the righteous, but the Most High delivereth them from them all. So it might look bad for a minute, but know that you win in the end. This is Isaiah 8 and 10. Take counsel together, and it shall come to naught. Speak the word, and it shall not stand. For Emmanuel, or El, or God is with us, all you righteous ones. And one word of admonishment to us, to the ones who are trying to do right and trying to keep it together for real and do the right things in the sight of the Most High. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 9, verse 13. And this is what the angel told Ezra, or Esdras that they call him in the Greek, which is some of the Apocrypha is written in. It says, and therefore be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished, and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whom the world is, and whom the world is and for whom the world is created. Good News Translation. Therefore, Ezra, you should stop asking questions about how the wicked will be punished. Instead, be concerned about how the righteous will be saved. The world was created for and belongs to them. Shout out to my homie who we had this conversation early in the week that sparked me to remember that verse where it says, stir up your pure remembrance. So sometimes certain conversations the Most High has me to have put me back in where I need to be at for real. And the people don't even know that's what they doing, but they being used just like the devil can use people to do and say things. And we experience that all the time. Know that the Most High can use people to say things that we need to hear also. Like my brother's shadows we just talking about, that everybody is channeling. It's either you getting it from the Most High or you getting your stuff from the Most Low, and sometimes you get it from both, and it's like a radio. You gotta choose which frequency you choose to tap into and to follow, So back to this. Don't worry about when ones that, wait a minute. So don't worry about when and how. Let me get that again. Let's start that over because I messed up. Got sidetracked. This is 2nd Ezra 9 and 13 in the Good News Translation. Therefore, Ezra, you should stop asking questions about how the wicked will be punished. Instead, be concerned about how the righteous will be saved. The world was created for and belongs to them. So don't worry about when and how. That's what a lot of us make that mistake. We just sit there and wait on somebody to get theirs, you know? But what we should be doing is working out our own salvation with fear and trembling and doing what we need to be doing. And when the Most High says it's time for whoever to get theirs, that's when they going to get it, you know? And King Solomon said we shouldn't even waste time rejoicing when it happens. And I've seen it happen a couple of times, and I couldn't even be happy. The empath in me, I still felt sorry for the people, regardless to the grimy things that they had done to me, you know? Don't worry about when and how. Just keep living uprightly to the best of your ability and know when it does come, you will see it. Psalm 37 and 34 says so. This is Sirach 11:25 through 28. When things are going well, people don't think about hard times. And when things are going badly, they forget about prosperity. Verse 26. Yah, or the Lord, can easily wait until the day of our death to reward or punish us. Verse 27. At that time, our deeds are open for all to see. All our happiness can be erased in that one moment of misery. Verse 28. So then, don't think of anyone's life as happy until it is over, because all the evidence is not in until that person is dead. How many people who passed away and we found out stuff about them that we didn't know when they was alive, like people that we thought was heroes, and then we hear like maybe their children speak or somebody else that was close to them speaking. Like, dang, that's how they really got down? Or even some people that you feel like is the greatest people in the world from a distance, then you meet them and you see how they really act and how they conduct themselves. I know that's happened to me, and I pray that I don't do that when people meet me, you know. I always pray that I put forth leave a good taste in people's mouths, so to speak, when they meet me for real, and I don't turn anybody away from, like this path. And this is verse 28. So then don't think of anyone's life as happy until it is over. We just read it, but it needs to be read again. Because all the evidence is not in until that person is dead. So withhold your opinion, good or bad, about a person until that person is dead and the verdict is in. So with that being said, shalom. Until next time, Yah Baruch. And Yah bless each and every one of y'all. Love y'all. Don't forget to hit that like button so that this message can get to more people. Leave comments because I love talking to y'all. And if you haven't already, subscribe so that you know whenever something new come up. Alright? Much love. Most High bless to keep y'all. And prayerfully we'll meet again real soon.